Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Brett Dewhurst, and I'm the Community Programs Coordinator for Better Business Bureau of Upstate New York. I wanted to welcome you today to our BBB monthly webinar. We have a monthly webinar for our community partners, our accredited businesses, and charities that go through a range of different topics throughout the year. Today's topic is online reputation management. So as we jump into things, I will just go through a couple of housekeeping things, and we will be good to go. So today's content, we're just going to do a very quick overview of Better Business Bureau, who we are, where we are, and what we do. We're going to talk about some of the BBB standards that we have for our accredited businesses, charities, and our community partners. Once we get through that, we're going to jump right into online reputation management basics. We'll be available for any particular questions that you have during the presentation as well as after the presentation on this particular topic. And then two additional topics that rotate and go in very well with online reputation management is customer reviews and social media. So you'll see how those kind of tie in as we kind of jump into things. Just a couple of housekeeping items before we get started. This webinar is being recorded. And once this recording is finished, usually within 24 hours, we will place it on our website under the monthly webinars link located at bbb.org. We do ask you that you keep yourself muted and your cameras off for the duration of the presentation. The chat box is open if you do have any questions during the presentation. And then after the presentation is over, I'm happy to answer any questions from the chat box that I may have missed, as well as any live questions that you guys have as we go through things. So let's get started on online reputation management and why it's so important for particular businesses. So over 95% of our consumers basically are using the internet on a daily basis to search for businesses, and 42% are using it daily. This means that every single day, individuals are going in, they're searching for companies, they're searching for organizations or a product or a service, and to make sure basically that your information that's on your website, your information that is available to you is positive and it's accurate. And that's the most important thing, to make sure that having a positive online reputation is going to turn those customers into actual lifetime customers. It's going to help them trust businesses, convert searches into leads, and it's also going to help you boost your local search as well. So before I jump into online reputation management and just the basics of it, I do just want to give you a brief overview of Better Business Bureau and what we do. So Better Business Bureau, there is about 94 of them nationwide, and we operate at the upstate New York level. So there are two Better Business Bureaus in upstate New York. Two Better Business Bureaus in New York State. Ours, upstate New York, which does cover 48 counties that you can see on your screen in the light blue color. And then we do share New York State with the Metro New York Better Business Bureau that covers everything basically south of Albany, including New York City. So just two Better Business Bureaus throughout the state of New York. But like I said, there's about 94 of them nationwide, including Canada and Mexico as well, to assist you for different services that you have. Better Business Bureau works with the consumers, it works with businesses, and most importantly, it works with the community. So we do offer a number of services, and a lot of our services are free for consumers to take part in. We do have an advertising review program that works with accredited businesses to make sure their advertising is accurate, to make sure they're putting out accurate information, correct marketing material to work with it on a daily basis. We do have a scam tracker program. If you ever feel as though that you have been part of a scam, or if you've identified something that might be a scam, we do ask that you report it to us directly. Our scam tracker tool allows you to type the information in through our website and basically let us know what is happening in your particular area. If enough individuals are reporting a particular scam, we can then basically take a report together, present it to the media, and hopefully get that information on TV, on radio, and back into the consumer's hands to make sure that we're keeping you safe in your community. We do have an investigations team that does work with scams, and it also works with businesses to make sure that businesses are trustworthy. We have a charity review program that works identically with accredited businesses, but it's for the nonprofit sectors. So any charity that's interested in becoming accredited can work directly with me to go through the accreditation process and prove that they're a trustworthy and manageable organization. And we also offer a dispute resolution team. If individuals are working with businesses or there's any sort of business to consumer or business to business issue, we can work directly with our dispute resolution team to sit down with those individuals and hopefully work out a particular deal or a negotiation and kind of resolve that dispute. Really quickly, just our standards of trust. For any organization to become accredited, they do have to meet 8 different standards. These standards include building trust, advertising honestly, simple things like telling the truth, being transparent. So these 8 particular areas do require that all of our businesses that become accredited businesses have to meet these particular standards and continue to meet them after accreditation. We do reserve the right to remove a business from accreditation if they're not following the basic procedures. But what allows us to do is that accredited businesses that go through this process, we can prove that they are a trustworthy organization. They've gone through this lengthy process to make sure that you can trust them if you're hiring an individual, a contractor, looking for a product or service. The ones that are accredited by us, we are guaranteeing their trustworthiness. For businesses that are accredited, and this kind of does go back onto online reputation management because this is for a particular online resource, we do offer business profiles for our accredited businesses. You don't have to be accredited to have a profile. If there are businesses basically that receive reviews or receive complaints from a consumer, we may create a profile on the behalf of the business just to make sure that all the information is accurate and up to date. One of the benefits of accreditation is you have a really good access to edit your profile. So you can see on the right-hand side, everything from updating your business overview, contact information, your particular BBB rating, any customer reviews that you get through our website, which we can talk about that in a little bit. If you're interested basically in having consumers get a quote from you, they can reach out to you directly and we provide that contact information. Any complaints that go on their business details and or business categories that are available for them as well. So as we jump into online reputation management, one of the biggest things that we see out there is that we want your business to have a positive reflection on who you are as an individual and as a business in the online world. So you can see basically what we're looking at. We want to see that businesses are trustworthy, that they're honest, that they have responsiveness. If a consumer writes to you on either social media or your website or calls you, we want you to be responsive and to reply back to them as quickly as possible. And we'll explain why just in a little bit on why that's so important. But there's generally two types of reviews that are out there. People, for the most part, will generally tell you that you are a 5-star organization, you're the best thing that's ever happened to them, or they generally tell you that you are a 1-star organization, that you're the worst thing that's ever happened to them. There really isn't a friendly middle ground for the most part. Most people that are posting reviews online are going to post either a 5-star review or a 1-star review. One of the personal things that I've lived for, and one thing that I definitely do when I'm looking for a product or service, I don't pay attention to the 1-stars or the 5-star reviews. I pay attention to the ones that take the time to put in 2, 3, or 4 stars. A 5-star review to me means one of two things. One, it could potentially be a fake review that someone has posted over and over again, or it could be a consumer that basically thinks you are the best organization in the world for that particular service. For 1-star reviews, a lot of people basically will have a minor negative experience and then just want to go in and give you a 1-star review as a rebuttal. So I don't focus on the 1s or the 5 stars. That's not necessarily advice of Better Business Bureau. That's just my own personal, opportunity in the way that I handle things. But looking at the 2 stars, the 3 stars, and the 4 stars generally give you a better assessment of your consumers and what they really think of your organization. Because for me, it seems that they take more time out of their day to write those particular reviews and to accurately grade you on a particular review based upon the product or service that you do offer. One of the most important things that you can have for your online business or for your business as an online presence is a Google My Business page. Having a Google account is extremely important because this lives on. It's the main search engine. It's something that people are looking at on a daily basis. And the most important things to consider is that, first off, if you have an account, and when you do have accounts, making sure that your contact information is correct. Do you have a photo of your business or your sign or your logo that people will recognize you? You can see on the top right of the screen, we do have our Better Business sign that is out front of our office up in Amherst, New York. We have this picture available because people will recognize this. So if someone sees this picture online and they decide to come visit our office, this is the first thing that they see as they drive into our parking lot. So it's an opportunity for you to have them. It's an opportunity for you to basically have a picture that's there that people will recognize and they know where you are and they know what to expect when they get to your particular organization. If you do have a storefront or an address that's available for them to visit as well. You also have the opportunity to share updates on this particular site. You can update your contact information. You can see there's a section there for questions and answers. And so if someone asks a question about your business, you can reply to it and you get the opportunity to do so. At the bottom right-hand side, you can see that there's reviews that are written about your organization. One thing that Google does is they do not monitor their particular reviews. So if you end up getting a review from Google or an individual that posts a review on Google, it generally immediately goes to your particular page. So as you're looking through this, it's always nice to have that 5-star rating. just to make sure basically that you're maintaining as much authority and as much positivity on the web and on the presence that you have. You can see that we have a 3.4 star rating based upon our 54 Google reviews. And the reason I like to talk about this is that if you notice at the bottom, the first review that's written for us says they really appreciate the quality of the work and the finish. Well, that review has absolutely nothing to do with us. That review was written by a consumer that used us to hire basically another business for a service that they had. And in doing so, they ended up writing the review back on our page. So the reason I share this story is because you can't really read into reviews all the time because they're not always accurate, they're not always real. So I'll explain one of the benefits that we do offer for both of our accredited and non-accredited members about reviews that can take place on your BBB business page if you choose to have one, whether you are accredited or not. Another area that you should focus on, obviously, is your website. Are you managing it yourself? Is it a team member on your particular group, or is it with a third party? If it's with a third party, how often is your information updated? Making sure that you have a correct phone number on there, your correct address. If you change buildings, making sure that you let your consumers know where you're located. The other thing to consider is, what are you looking to get out of your website? Is it a shopping site? Is it something basically just have an online presence? Are you showing examples of previous work? Who is your target audience? What are your goals? So these are really questions that you should ask yourself before you develop your own webpage, or if you're going to have a third party develop your own webpage for you. But making sure that your web page that's set up for you really accurately portrays you as an organization, and make sure that your information is up to date and is solid at all times. Excuse me. Okay. Online directories. So with online directories, for example, one of the ones that we use a lot is actually with our charities and our nonprofits. We work with, not necessarily work with, but we also look at GuideStar, which is an opportunity for us to kind of see what charities are out there and the contact information that's available for it. But from a for-profit perspective, what databases can you get yourself into? Is your business located in a particular section of Nextdoor? Do you have a Facebook group? Do you have a page basically on Yelp? Areas where consumers are going to look for particular reviews and examples of your work, or opportunities in which they can get to know you as a business. So making sure that your information is updated on all of these particular organizations. One thing to really consider is it's great to be listed in as many places as possible, but you want to make sure that your information is up to date on all of these. So making sure that you are compiling a list of all the locations where you have an online presence, to make sure that if any time you need to update information, you're doing so across the board on all of these particular pages, and you're not leaving one out that you may have forgotten to set up for you. So just making sure that your presence is available and that your information is as updated as possible. One of the other areas of online reputation management that isn't talked about as much is email marketing. Is email marketing still alive? And the answer is, of course it is. Open rates have increased since 2021. And the most important thing that you want to consider when it comes to your particular email marketing is that you have to have the correct content at the right audience at the right time. Those are the three things to make sure that your email marketing is going to be successful. And this is probably an obvious answer, but I'll just read the question anyway. If we were to basically ask you, what is the number one reason why people unsubscribe to an email? It's because you're emailing them too much. I know personally, I just purchased a new mattress a couple months ago, and I went to my local furniture store site. I gave them my email address so I could receive $50 off my purchase. And then I was getting emails 3 or 4 times a day from that same organization about deals, specials, opportunities. I mean, it was aggressive, and it got to the point where I had to shut it off because I was getting 3 to 4 emails per day. And what I noticed is that the moment that I purchased the mattress and moved on from it, I stopped receiving emails from the organization. I probably only get maybe like one a month now about new updates or things that are happening. But if you're searching for something and you provide your contact information, you're going to get a lot of emails from an organization. So if you're that organization that is emailing those individuals, make sure that it's appropriate, make sure that it's the right content for the right audience at the right time, and do not email them too much. Have some self-control in regards to the amount of emails that you're sending, and making sure that if you have some sort of third-party email device that's set up that automatically emails individuals, making sure you know what goes out to your consumers so you're not aggressively contacting them at multiple points throughout the day, because it's probably just going to frustrate them and you'll start losing those particular email supporters. One of the other areas of online reputation management that we love focusing on is customer reviews. Customer reviews basically are extremely important in the online world. If you get a bad review, first off, it's frustrating. You want to make sure basically that it's an accurate perception of your organization. And a lot of times a bad review may not be that accurate representation. It could have been an individual that was frustrated with the product or service that you offered and decides to trash your business online for something that probably could have been done through a phone call or something that could have been done safer. The problem is that when they post it online, it's now public information and it's very hard to get rid of it, especially at certain sites that you have. So reviews are extremely important, but obviously you want the good reviews. You want to take care of any of the negative reviews that come in as quickly as possible, just to make sure that you're not leaving something out there for others to see that you're not handling it correctly. So the reason why you need reviews, obviously boosted brand recognition. You have opportunities basically for instant feedback, direct communication, and you want your reviews on particular sites. You want to be on Google, you want to be on Yelp, on Facebook. And one that a lot of people don't really consider, but we want you to consider for obvious reasons, is having reviews on Better Business Bureau. What sets us apart versus any other review site is that we actually monitor all the reviews that come in and we verify every review that's posted on our site before it gets posted on our site. So if someone comes to us and writes a review about your organization, and let's just say, for example, they write a negative review, we call them or we contact them directly to make sure, okay, let's walk through this story. Let's talk about what happened. And then if we can justify that it is a negative review or a positive review, that's when we'll post it on our particular website. So you really don't have that service with other websites. It's really just through Better Business Bureau. And a lot of times people are going to come directly to us if they're going to search for a particular business because they know that those reviews are accurate and they know that we go through a vetting process to make sure that those reviews are going to be accurate for that particular organization. Another thing to consider in regards to customer reviews, almost 100%, about 98% of people will occasionally read online reviews for a local business. Almost 80% of consumers, I would say almost always or regularly read online reviews when browsing for local businesses, which has been up for the last couple of years. And then the percentage of people who never read reviews when browsing local businesses has dropped to nearly 0%. I believe the results for 2023 are going to come out within the next few weeks or so. And I believe that 2% is going to drop down to 1%, which means about 99% of people are reading reviews when they're looking for a product or service, trying to decide if this is something that they're interested in, or if you're an organization that they feel will be trustworthy and they want to invest in either your product or service that's available. Some of the top areas and some of the most important areas in which a review is not necessarily necessary, but something that is really highly striven for is in the service industry. So service businesses, trades, individuals, care services, healthcare. So those are the three most important part in customers' decisions as they're looking for a particular product or service in those marketplaces. 74% of consumers left reviews in the last 12 months. And what I find interesting is that most people will leave a positive review. Not as many people will leave a negative review, but the crossover basically is about 1 out of every 3 people is going to write both positive or negative reviews about an organization. So take that into consideration, knowing that 1 out of every 3 people that interacts with you in some manner will probably write a review either for or against your organization, depending on how you handle that particular consumer. So as we jump away from customer reviews, we want to kind of go into what happens next. So if a customer leaves a review on your particular website or they leave it on Better Business Bureau or one of the third-party sites, what do they generally do next? And so the top 5 things that they're going to do right after leaving a review is they're going to go to your website. They're going to go immediately to your website. They're going to see if your website is organized, if it's set up, if it's professional, if it shows the information correctly and accurately about your organization. They're also going to look at other websites basically for additional reviews. So once they see a particular positive or negative review and they want some additional verification, you'll see them move on to a different particular site to get more reviews about your company or business. Then a lot of times, and not very often, but I would say third most common is that after they're looking at reviews, after they're figuring out basically that you can validate you as a company, they may come visit you. If you have a storefront, if you have a physical location basically in the state, you might see them showing up after they read reviews. Once they see that you are a trustworthy organization, now they want to have that face-to-face conversation. They feel as though that they've vetted your organization and now they're ready to talk face-to-face. They're also going to continue searching for other businesses of that same marketplace. They want to see what your direct competition is. They want to see basically who is the least expensive, who has the most reviews, all the different things that people look for when deciding to use a product or service. And then finally, if they don't come visit you, you're definitely going to get a phone call. They'll contact your business. They'll work with you directly to try to get in contact with someone to see how is the best steps to move forward. So when we look at everything together, and the next topic is social media, but when we look at everything together, everything is just connected. Customer reviews turn into opportunities where they're going to come visit you. They're going to call you. They're going to look at other reviews. Every single thing when it comes to online reputation management is connected. And I think that's why this topic is so important. And it's one of the reasons why we do this topic about once every 3 months or so, because we do see a lot of individuals that are invested. They want to know how to have that online presence to be successful, to make sure their customers feel successful with them as well. All right, so jumping into social media. So social media is a tricky device because just like posting reviews online, social media is a live platform. It's very hard to remove stuff from social media. For example, if you post something on social media and then you realize you need to remove it, people could have still seen it. People could have screenshotted it. Once you post it, you have to just assume that it's out there for the entire world, and you may not be able to pull that content back. So making sure that you are posting accurate and honest information on your social media sites before you end up getting yourself in trouble because you may have posted something inaccurate or inappropriate or something that may offend someone as well. So one thing that we talk about in regards to social media is answering a complaint on social media is going to increase the customer's advocacy by over 25%. This is crucial. If you have the manpower, if you have the opportunity to reply to all of your social media reviews or all of your Google reviews, we absolutely recommend that you do. We know that not every organization can, but what we recommend is to reply to every single positive and every single negative review for a couple of reasons. For the positive reviews, if you simply basically look at a positive review that someone wrote and write back to them saying, "Thank you so much for your kind words. We enjoyed working with you," or something of that nature, you're going to make them feel good about you as an organization. And more importantly than that individual, other individuals are going to see that you take your customers seriously and that you're reaching out to them on a daily basis. On the flip side, if you receive a negative review, you absolutely need to respond to these within 24 hours. We encourage you, and this is something that we're all guilty of. What we encourage is after you receive the negative review, do not reply immediately. If you reply immediately, you're most likely going to reply basically if you're angry, if you're frustrated, if you're trying to get your point across, and that's going to reflect negatively against your business if you come back basically aggressively with that particular customer or consumer. So what we encourage you to do is take an hour, take half the day, if you will, write a couple of drafts of what you want to say and making sure that it's an appropriate context and an appropriate conversation with that person. Your ultimate goal is not to continue a conversation on social media or on that particular review site. It's to pull them away from the public perspective. So if you have the opportunity to basically say, I'm really sorry to hear about the service. We apologize for XYZ. We would love to continue this conversation offline. Please give us a call at this particular number. By doing so, you're kind of diffusing the situation. So you're pulling them away from that particular review site. It's not going to turn into like a chain of 20 or 30 people all replying on the same particular thing because you remove them away and you diffuse that situation. So that's one of the best strategies that we can teach in regards to getting someone to understand that a negative review is going to happen. Understand basically that when you see it as a business, you're probably going to be frustrated. But the best thing you can do is take a break, pause, decide what you're going to say. And then when you do say it, make the main objective to pull them away from those reviews and have a personal conversation with them one-on-one. 80% of consumers are going to expect you to reply within a day. So that's why we say that particular 24-hour rule. The more times you can reply on the same time, the quicker you reply, obviously the better. But the majority of organizations take more than a day in regards to actually replying to particular consumers. So the quicker you're able to do this, it does give you an opportunity. And most importantly, it gives you a competitive edge against other businesses because it's showing that you are appropriate and that you're showing that you do appreciate your customers that you're working with. Couple neat facts on social media and why it's so important. More than 50% of the world's population is on social media. More than 50% of people use it to research products, and most people basically are spending about 2.5 hours to 3 hours per day on social media. And this means on the computer or on the phone or on their devices. So they're connected all the time. So about 2.5 to 3 hours is kind of the average time that someone will spend at a particular day. The other thing that you want to consider when you're posting information on social media is the content that you're sharing. A lot of individuals, almost 50% of individuals, will unfollow you on social media if you're posting content that's irrelevant. So things basically that have nothing to do with your business, you really want to limit those particular posts to either one in a very long while or just don't do it at all. An example of this and something that we do, but we do very carefully, is holidays. If a holiday is coming up, for example, Valentine's Day, St. Patrick's Day, you'll see a post from Better Business Bureau. It's just one quick post. Happy St. Patrick's Day. There's no messaging behind it. It simply just says, happy this particular day sort of thing. And we leave it like that. And then we go back to the content that's going to be relevant to our particular consumers. So making sure that you're not posting things just for the sole purpose of posting things, because almost 50% of people will leave your organization. Will unfollow your organization on social media if you start posting too much of a particular topic. Some ideas that we've definitely seen recently in regards to what you can do with social media. If you're interested in doing anything like fun, creative that works with you and your organization for social media posts, anytime you have the opportunity to tell people how you're giving back to your community is a great way. Holding a contest with either your employees or your consumers, if you have the opportunity to do a particular contest, make sure that you're reading all the rules regarding Facebook or social media, as well as contest rules, and make sure that you have your terms and conditions ready for a contest, just so you're not liable to a particular lawsuit for a contest. Employee features. One of the things that we do that we started doing is anytime one of our employees has an anniversary, we post their picture, we post a little bit of information of them on social media. It's a great way for our consumers to get to know our team. We have about 40 members at Better Business Bureau of Upstate New York. So it's a way throughout the year for them to kind of meet us and kind of put a name to a face as we're having those conversations with them. Any behind the scene tips that you can offer, industry tips that are available. People love polls and surveys. They love anything that's interactive. So if you have an interactive poll where people can vote on, I don't know, like who's the best pet in the office or all these different things. I mean, it's just a fun way to get people involved and to kind of post that stuff. With memes, GIFs, and quotes, obviously making sure that it's relevant to your organization. Really, really consider with things that you're posting is everyone can have and be offended by something. So if you're posting something, really take a look at it and say, is this going to offend anyone? Is there an opportunity where there's a word in here, there's a phrase in here, there's an idiom, something that could potentially offend someone? Because the last thing that you want to do is post something and basically turn someone off from your content because you posted something offensively. Any infographics, people love going through and kind of seeing different charts and opportunities that are there. Any user generated content, if your consumers are tagging you on something that you've done for their organization or done for them as an individual, and they're tagging you, thanking you for such a great job, share it. Definitely share that information, because what that's going to do is that's not you technically posting, that's them posting, and you're praising the fact that they're talking so highly of your organization. So an easy way to kind of see that type of information as well. And then finally, video content. I know video content is not as easy to do as simply posting a picture or posting some text, but if you do have the opportunity to create some video content, it kind of just spices things up among your social media site. It gives them the opportunity to kind of see things differently. We've had a couple contractors that we have worked with that have been accredited businesses just go around and take pictures basically and take video of a finished product, and obviously getting the permission of the homeowner, of course, but just a way of seeing different things that have occurred throughout different videos that we've seen. So anytime you have the opportunity to do video content, it generally gets higher reviews and higher actually views basically of that particular content versus just text and or just particular images. So that is it from my perspective in regards to online reputation management. And the biggest thing that we encourage individuals to do is to reach out to us and ask any questions. We're happy to answer any questions when it comes to marketing, advertising, social media. We're here for you as a consumer, a consumer-based organization, and we're also here as a business-based organization as well. So we work directly with consumers and we work directly with businesses, but separately and opportunistically to give you a chance to really work with us on a case-by-case level. So I'm going to go ahead and stop this recording, and we'll go into any questions or any issues that you guys have. And I'm happy to answer any questions before we take off for this afternoon. So if you stuck with us for the duration of this presentation, thank you for being here today. We do offer a monthly webinar for our accredited businesses, our accredited charities, as well as our community partners. So we are finishing our topics for April, May, and June, and we will be releasing them soon. So we will see you next month with our next topic. And thank you very much.